Are you constantly losing in Overwatch 2 and wondering if your teammates are actually bots in disguise? Do you feel like you're just one ranked game away from throwing your PC out the window? Well, take a deep breath and don't uninstall just yet. All you have to do is click the link in the description, join my Discord server, and send in your gameplay for a completely free VOD review. So what are you waiting for? Yeah, you. Send in your VOD, get coached by a top 500 player, and start climbing today. Enjoy the video. VOD review time. We got a silver tank player. It's looking like we're playing Ryan. You guys know the drill, bro. At the start of every game, any VOD review, if you watch any of my VOD reviews, bro, come on now. You guys should fucking know this. You gotta be paying attention to what you guys are playing and what the other team is playing. So before the game starts, we have Mercy, Allari. I always look at my support lineup first. So I feel like that's the most important lineup to consider on both teams because they have the most impactful abilities in my opinion. As a Ryan player myself, I dabble. I would be thinking, okay, I'm not gonna have a lot of heals this match. This is gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to play really passive. Can't be taking too much damage because yeah, you're not gonna be able to get healed through it. Also, you gotta be wary of where your Allari is placing that turret. This is really creative though. The Reinhardt venture sitting in this spot, bro. If I'm a support player, I'm looking at this and I'm immediately scared for my life, bro. I'm immediately like, what the fuck are we doing? But let's see what happens. Okay, so off the bat, you go to charge in off the spawn. That was pretty risky, but you do get speared back. Good fire strikes. Again, going for the pins. In this rank, you don't get punished as much, but you just gotta be wary of where you're pinning. Because when you pin in like this, you don't have a way to getting out. And like I said, you don't have a lot of support with the Mercy Lifeweaver, so you want to be playing in range of that pylon and using pins sparingly. Instead of trying to pin in and get kills that way, I would have just been contesting the cart and swinging around the cart, doing damage, building up your Earth Shatter like that, instead of going for these one shots with the charge. I don't think you hit a single person with your hammer this entire fight. The best thing you could do on Reinhardt is, build up that Earth Shatter as quickly as you can. Where I would personally be standing is I'd be standing, since this is a lower ranked lobby and you're not going to be punished as much. If you want to stand up here where you are, then I'd be standing in LOS this cart and just contesting it, swinging my hammer back and forth, just keeping everybody back on both sides of this cart. And then eventually, after you might have to back up, I'd back up to this corner and then contest the cart from here. Then just keep backing up and making it as difficult as possible for them to push the cart. All right, so you guys are up one. You guys are up two, so I'd be playing real aggressive here. Now's the time I would do what you're doing on the first point and charge in. But see, like right here is when I was expecting you to go around this. What I would have done is personally just charge. More than likely, you charge this bastion into the wall. You guys are up two, so you gotta be playing quickly. Like now is the time for you to charge in. But see how you're kind of not participating in these fights. You only have 500 damage so far, and that's because you're kind of just throwing fire strikes. And when you do get an opportunity to charge in, you didn't take it. But it's still early on. There we go. Get aggressive with it. You guys are still up some. Keep swinging at her. See, look. You get low. It's a little scary, but you get healed back up. Good pin on the cast. See, even then, you could have continued to be playing aggressive. You could have, after you killed the cast, you could have, sat there and denied the res or went to go kill somebody else because you were still completely full HP and healthy. And it wasn't time in the fight yet to just yet focus the Orisa because she still had her abilities, so she's not going to die just yet. Good block on the Bastional and on the High Noon. But yeah, you did a good job blocking both those ults there. You're down almost your entire team, so yeah. So far, dude, you just gotta be focusing on swinging that hammer a little bit more, using the hammer. I think you've probably hit a total of maybe 2 hammer swings this match so far. You gotta be getting up close and personal. You gotta be that Giga Chad Reinhardt. But it is tough because they are running Orisa. Let's not forget they're running Orisa, Bastion, and Cass, which means that they have a lot of shield break, and those characters kind of counter Reinhardt. All right, you finally swapped off Allari. You have Ana, and you swapped Ram, which I think is a very good choice here. So this is probably gonna be a lot easier for you now. Your team wins the fight. You're still walking back because you're on that slow ass tank, which is perfectly fine. It's the life of the tank, man, bro. You be just walking hella slow sometimes. Let's not push too far into the spawn now. I don't really like that use of form. Oh, I was about to say, Oh, you got booped off. That's so unlucky. That could have all been prevented by just... Whoa, what the fuck? Yo, help, help, help. I'm stuck. Oh, yes. Pop your Nemesis form. Wow, that's why it felt so slow. I was wondering. Pop that Nemesis form. You could probably pop it twice because you're slightly faster when you're in Nemesis form, so you can get back to the fight earlier. But going back to all of what just happened, that kind of Tom and Jerry ass scene there where you got booped off. As a rule of thumb, I would not push anywhere past this point into their spawn as a tank, unless you're on a mobile tank. Going past this point will almost never work out in your favor. Something is bound to happen. So I know you were trying to kill the Mercy there and, you know, get that stagger, but it's not worth it, bro. Going past this point, like I said, I know your team's pushing, but it just never works out. But none of that would have happened if you just didn't you know, get a little too aggressive there. But yeah, like this. Focus that more that just faded. Nice. Good shit. Ooh, I like the slow attempt on the Mercy. She stands still for you anyways. Nice. See, here I wouldn't push up too far. I wouldn't go past the bridge. And honestly, since nobody is playing on the high ground anyway, I would just, you know, contest the cart, play on the cart, make your cart the cart your home. There, one little small thing. Your Venture almost died. You got to be looking out for your teammates. Your Venture made a mistake, and she's like 1 HP. So me personally, on tank, I see this, and I'm going to throw up my shield to try to save her. Luckily, she does not die somehow, but these are things that you got to be looking out for on tank. This is what separates like a really good tank from, you know, an average tank, is recognizing when your team needs you, even though, you know, it may be like doing the most, but you got to be looking out for these things, because this could be the decider between either winning or losing the fight, is placing one shield. And since you still have your form and they don't have speed boost or anything to punish you, placing your shit like this is fine. Here I'd not shoot the tank. I would be focusing something else that's not the tank. See how long you're taking to kill this tank, because he's just getting healed. He probably won't even die. So yeah, that's one thing that you gotta realize, is when you get nailed like that, especially against Orisa, bro, more than half the time on Orisa as a tank, you play yourself, unless your team is really playing to counter the Orisa. I would honestly, for the most part, besides like maybe poking at her every once in a while, I would ignore her until she tries to make a move on your team, and that's when you can punish her. But this isn't the greatest of nanos. It's not the greatest of time nanos, but at least try to shoot one of the squishies. The Mora just used fade, so what I would have done is immediately pop my form and started shooting this Mora, and she doesn't have fade. You probably would have killed her. I would have shot the Mora, and if you had your Vortex, if you didn't waste it, you could have shot Vortex the floor, and then boom, she's dead. Watch. Woo! You're caught out with your abilities. That's tough. You gotta be wary. You gotta be wary of what's happening behind you and where your team is and stuff like that. And you gotta be paying attention to the kill feed and the sound cues and all of that jazz to stay on top of what's going on. I don't even think that you knew that your Mercy had died here just yet, or else you would have kept backing up at this point instead of, you know, staying and, you know, kind of going back and forth. You should have continued to back up and stabilize with your team. Your Ana is positioned over here though, so she probably ends up dying, but you can't control everything. Yeah, you gotta just start backing up here. You're down 2. You guys have no ultimates. There's no chance. You run out of abilities and you die. You guys should be able to have a touch. Your Ana is gonna get staggered. Hopefully your Hanzo doesn't die, and you guys will have another touch to get a full. Yo, that guy driving the tire on the floor is crazy. Yeah, Venture dies to it. You guys are down 1. You guys might be able to get the res. Again, I'm gonna say this one more time. Don't forget to use that Nemesis form to get out of the spawn early. This time actually makes sense, maybe not to. Oh, but you got to touch, bro. That's another thing. You have to know that you have to touch there, at least. Likely, you're not going to win the fight, and you're likely going to die touching there. But by touching, you might force out some ultimates from their team, and instead of them just capping for free, you guys get some ultimates out, and it's not the end of the world, because, first of all, the cart takes a while after you cap the point to start moving, and they're going to end up moving this cart for free anyways, even if you are here. So it's always best to try to touch, to force out ultimates, to gain more ult charge for your team, etc. See how much time you're wasting by, like, stopping spamming here and shit like that. At this point, you're like, okay, now I need to touch. You should have known as soon as you respawned that you're gonna have to touch, and you should have been like preparing for it. I'll say it again. Best way for you to have touched that is to walk in a straight line as quickly and as efficiently as you can. Act like you're in like a NASCAR race or like a car race. You want to take the best path. You know what I mean? So I'd be walking like this. Immediately, I'd be throwing my E probably here. This is where I'd probably throw my E, slow down this jump, and cover space that way. I would have placed the shield like right here, boom, and then pop my form and would started jumping and blocking mid jump, and you would have made it to the cart. And then once you got like maybe around 60% health is when I'd pop my ultimate, and you guys probably win the fight. Just something to take note. Your Venture dies again. That guy is not having a good time. Okay, but here, this next fight, I want to see you use your ult. If you save your ult this next fight, then you're kind of wasting. Like right now, I'd go in their backline and use that shit. It's too late now, so again, you haven't even used a single ult this entire round. I hope you are able to use it before they cap the point. If not, that's something you really got to think about, is trying to find value from your ult sooner. And I don't even think you're gonna be able to touch, bro, because one, you didn't know that the form makes you move faster, and two, right when you spawned in there, you're kind of AFK for half a second. Look, that's a whole second where you're just kind of sitting there. Maybe you got distracted, maybe you're changing a setting, but that's something that you want to do in between rounds if you really want to try to win the game. Okay, you finally pop it. I'd be focusing the Bastion. You could actually shoot both of those targets at the same time if you line it up correctly. So after you pop your ult there, I would probably try to play my life and stuff, but I think you're gonna lose anyway, so I kind of respect trying to make something happen. Not bad. They have a minute 43, but if you press scoreboard here, see, yeah, you're 4 and 6. Kind of rough, really rough game for you. Mostly because you had to swap out for Reinhardt and you just never got any momentum. But one thing that you're doing a lot is just allowing them to walk all over you. You got take some initiative or try to make a play or do something. Like I know it's hard if you don't know what to do, but that's how you learn, is by making mistakes. I'd rather see you like dying early than just kind of playing how you were and just watching the fights kind of go on, and it kind of seems like you don't have much control over what's happening. So I'd rather you try to take some control, even if you make mistakes and die more and lose. That is way better for you to do than to continue doing what you were doing. I like the D.Va pick. D.Va's very strong this season, super strong. Very easy to get value out of D.Va. Yeah, I can't see this pick going wrong. Here, there's no point to be trying to like do damage like this. You're just taking way too much damage, and you're maybe tickling them for about 20 damage. Instead, I'd just be walking the card up in cover, just holding my DM for my teammates when I have to, and just getting closer to them before you start trying to do all this damage that you're trying to do, because you're just taking so much damage, which is making your healers have to support you, which distracts them from other things. It's just unnecessary damage that you don't need to be taking, and you're not really trading any damage back, because D.Va does like no damage from that range. And see how, since you took so much damage, you have to play so far back. You gotta be getting up close and personal when it comes to playing D.Va. You're kind of playing a D.Va like you're playing a poke tank, like Sigma, Orisa, or like Ramattra, where you're sitting farther back. Can't do that on D.Va. It's not gonna work out for you. You gotta use your fly ability. I'd probably try to fly up top, take some space that way. I don't even think you've used your fly ability yet, so you definitely gotta take advantage of that. You could have flied up here, chilled for a bit, DM'd, and then you can make a move on the Widow. Fly towards her, take some risks. That's what I was saying last round, where it's okay to die. Like you have to die to learn these things and to learn what you can get away with and what you can't. So yeah, I'm guessing you're gonna swap off here because that didn't feel good. I'm assuming. Swap to the Roadhog. I like how you're trying to figure out what tank is going to be the best here. Like I actually like that, because that's how you learn. That's honestly what I did when I was learning tank. Since you don't know what the best tanks are and for what matchups, this is like the only way you learn. So I like how you're trying to figure it out. But one thing about picking Roadhog here is, one, this is not the best Roadhog map, and two, they have an Orisa and a Bastion, and it's gonna be super hard to you to get close enough to them to even attempt a hook. And if you do attempt to hook, you're probably gonna take a fuck ton of damage. But Orisa is one of the biggest hog counters, along with Ana and Maga, so gotta be worried of that. Watch out for the spear crossing this bridge. I like how you're taking this route though. It's actually pretty good. Again, be careful getting booped off the map. Nice, you don't get booped off. You didn't necessarily have to walk all the way back here. Like I said, you're kind of letting their tank bully you a little bit. He didn't even outplay you or do too much damage to you or anything. You're just kind of letting him push you around. You gotta, you know, fight back. Shoot him. You were fine there. You still had all of your healing. You had your supports alive. You have the advantage here. Like, play a little bit more aggressive. That's what I see the most right now. Play aggressive. Come on, get up in close and personal. Nice try on the hook there. That would have killed him. It was a nice try. Also, you can use that right click on the Roadhog from that range. Nice. That was good. Fortunately, your Kiriko dies to the Widow. You guys are going to cap. I don't think they're touching. So that's good. Again, from this range, it's always worth to right click. Anything that's farther than like, I think right here is where the right click explodes, if from where you're standing. Anything farther than this, always use the right click. And it's gonna be good practice for you to get used to it. See what I meant though? When you first swap Hog, this is what I was expecting to happen. You're just gonna take a fuck ton of damage because you have the damage boosted Bastion and Orisa, and it's gonna be a tough time for you. Let's see how you use your whole Hog though. Okay, so if you're paying attention, you might have missed it. You should have seen this Widow up here. You saw her for a brief second. If I see that as a tank, I'm immediately walking up these stairs and testing her out. You don't necessarily have to kill her, but you want to deny this threat. That's a big part of playing tank, is denying the other team from killing your team. So whatever is the biggest threat to your team, you want to be like there to do something about it, because this Widowmaker is probably gonna headshot your Pharah, if I'm guessing. She misses a shot. You guys use Bap Window and Whole Hog. So I'm glad you're using your ultimate quicker this time. It was a good attempt on that hook. I like that. Again, don't be scared to get up nice, close, and personal to that Orisa. Just because you're closer to the Orisa doesn't mean she's gonna do more damage to you. So I would get up nice and close and personal when she's contesting the payload like that. Here you gotta go in for sure. And it's okay to shoot the Orisa here because she dies. Nice hook. Alright, keep going in. You gotta keep playing aggressive. Deny the Liz. Nice. Good job. Well played there. The Roadhog is surprisingly working out. There you could have stayed playing aggressive, but putting 3 on cart is fine. But if you play, ooh, nice try. That's unlucky. Hey, their tank did the same thing that you did on the defense. Their tank could have easily had touched, but they didn't. So now you guys capped the point for free, and y'all still have almost 3 ultimates to use while the red team has 0. So that's why it's so important to touch this point as a tank on defense, because if you do touch this point, then it will potentially force out these ultimates that your team has, and so you won't have them for the next point. But since the Orisa just decides not to touch, you guys can use those ultimates to keep rolling them. I kind of like this off angle, this flank. Nice. See, I like that. All right, now I would use my Whole Hog. I'd back up and use Whole Hog right now. Turn around and use it so you can push that Orisa into the corner. Okay, instead you decided to do that. That's fine. I would be focusing the Orisa with the Whole Hog. There you go. Look how much damage that does. Wow. Okay, good shit. You actually you played really well that round. Playing a lot better than you did on the defense. I've noticed people in like the lower ranks, oftentimes I've noticed defense is way harder for them compared to the attack. Okay, do you guys remember what happened the last time you did this? It didn't work out, right? So I don't get why you're venturing in here again. It's not like it worked. And I'd be careful of getting booped off the map here by the Orisa Spear. I can easily see that if the Orisa walks out left side, he chucks the spear, boom, you get smacked into the wall and you fucking fall in the water. So just be careful. Genuinely, I wouldn't be pushing past anywhere here. Oh, I see what you're trying to do though. You're trying to get that hook off the map. See how much damage you're taking though? Okay, that's fine though. But see, you want to be careful now. You don't have your heal. Got saved. Again, your venture did some dumb shit. That's out of your control. Your team is dying now because honestly, you guys just lose this fight so quickly in both rounds because you guys are just too far up. You're not using any of the cover, you're not using any of the defense advantages that the maps offer, like either the high ground or the corners. That's, in my opinion, why you guys are losing this fight so fast, but that's not only your fault. Like, this venture, this is the second time that they've done that. But you can't, you know, blame them. You know, maybe some comms, and maybe in your next few games be like, alright guys, can we, like, you know, stand back here. There's no need to go up that far. Again, I'd like to see you touch this next objective, but I have a feeling you're not going to. Honestly, yeah, it's fine that you don't. You gotta be keeping track of the Orisa abilities. I wouldn't throw hooks at Orisa unless I've seen her use the propellers or her gold. Actually, no, I wouldn't throw a hook at her unless I see her use her propellers. I'd say throwing out a hook and forcing out gold is worth it, the gold ability, but not the propellers. So I would be looking to just, you know, maybe try to get an angle so I can try to hook somebody else other than Orisa. But that's why it's so hard to play Hog against Orisa, because she counters Hog really well. Ooh! See, that's exactly what I was just talking about. That's what I want to see. Again, you should be pushing up here. Pushing up, push up, push up. You're going way too passive, way too passive. As soon as your Kiri ults there, you gotta be pushing up, doing as much damage as you can, and trying to get that whole hog as quickly as possible. There's no need to try to get a pick before you get the whole hog. You gotta recognize that the Kiri whole hog combo is almost always fight winning. So I would just be spamming as much damage as I could. Not really, you know, caring about what kind of damage it is, just trying to get that ult quick and then pop it as immediately as I can. Like right now, even you could just use that ult and push them off the cart. Hey, nice. Very good. Good shit. Alright, that's winnable. Definitely winnable. Ooh, that's a good hook in. Let's see, going back to what I originally said when you swapped Roadhog. Even if you do land a hook, you're going to be taking so much damage because of the map and the team comp that they're on. That's going to be tough for you to do anything. So again, like I said with you on D.Va, I would just be sitting behind the cart and pushing it without, you know, taking as much damage as I can. All the way up until maybe you get to this point, and that's when you can try to throw out a hook. Because yeah, you do get the hook off on the Orisa, but she still has all of her abilities. And she probably lives. I like how you try to throw her off the map, but you weren't close enough to the edge. So yeah, you guys are kind of getting staggered. Roadhog is really hard to play on this map for this exact reason. Only on the first point. After the first point, Roadhog's pretty good, but on the first point, it's super tough. But yeah, no, you guys are just staggering. This is like what a lot of lower ranked players do, or teams, I mean. Like this is, you see this a lot in lower ranks, where, look, your Zen's about to die, and you guys just die, you know, over and over and over again. It's called snowballing. You guys are never a full 5 like they are. See how their team's all 5 there? You guys haven't been all 5 there, and you guys have wasted almost a minute and a half now. So if I was to tank myself, I'd tell everybody, yo, group up and spawn. Don't fucking move, because, I mean, look, your Junkrat's gonna go die now. You gotta be playing aggressive here. It's a good hook, but, like, again, it's not gonna do much. And your Pharah hits a good ult on the enemy, and you guys win the fight. But your team has to use 3 ults there to win. So that's really bad, because there's only 30 seconds left. So pushing it all the way to the 3rd point, it's going to be rough. I'd be looking to try to farm up your whole hog as quickly as I can here, because you're going to need that to win this next fight. You're down your Pharah. Unless your Junkrat gets a pretty big tire here, I'm assuming you guys lose. Oh, the tank did die. Are you going to see 9? Ooh, barely. Nice try. It's rough. Here, let's replay that last fight. First of all, you guys are really close to C9ing. When did this thing get off the cart? You got to be on the cart at 3 seconds for it to trigger the OT time. Your Junkrat was the one who had to touch it. I think he dies. to touch it. So you gotta be, especially in overtime situation like this, you gotta stay on cart. Your Junkrat died because you didn't touch, and then you used your Roadhog, and at that point it's too late. But these are all things in hindsight. It takes a lot of practice. Overall, you just gotta be, you know, just play more, bro. I saw you get some nice hooks. Try to make take more risk, and every time you die or you lose a fight, try to think to yourself, why did we lose that fight, and what could I have maybe done to increase my chances of winning that fight. Other than that, bro, thank you so much for submitting the VOD review. Maybe, you know, practice for a couple weeks, and if you want another one or maybe a different role, I'll be down, man.